Hey everybody, Gerry here. Before we get started with this edition of the Toffee Blue View, I need to let you know we had some technical issues with Paul and Max's footage. Their voice comes in great. It's the fact that we lost the video. I want to let you know ahead of time, sincerest apologies for this issue. We would have re-recorded had we had time, but we didn't. So this is the best thing we could do to salvage. Anyway, on with the show. Sorry again. Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. I'm Gerry. Max and Paul have joined me, being the nice guys they are. We got Palace at the weekend. Palace is right now 14th in the table. They're 2-1-5. They recently lost to Wolves 1-0 and lost to Bournemouth 2-1. They're not in the best patch right now, but they're still not a bad squad. They've got some talent. When you look at these starters, possible starters, Hennessy, Wan-Bissaka, who is good, by the way, Tompkins, Sacco, Van Aanholt, Meyer, who is another good player, Milivojevic, MacArthur, Townsend, Jordan Ayew, and possibly Zaha, who is, frankly, going to cost someone a lot of money at some point. You know what? I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to start with Max, because I never start with Max. I normally would start with Paul, but I feel like I've been hurting Max's feelings. So, Max, tell me about the danger men on Palace. Who we need to be looking out for?
Obviously, the big one, as you mentioned, Wilfried Zaha, he literally is. He gives Palace that it factor when they've got this really kind of structured approach off the ball, because particularly against Everton, they always seem to be a team that are extremely hard to break down in terms of getting through the midfield and through the defence. They've always been known to frustrate us. Patrick Van Aanholt is a player that I've been really impressed with recently over the past few months. Obviously, he was someone that was kind of in the mix in my mind. If we were going to go out into the market and end up getting a left back, I think obviously we've kind of done one better in terms of getting Luca Dean, but Patrick Van Aanholt, by all accounts, he fits the profile of what a standout player is at Crystal Palace for me. As I said, they've got these really physical, tall, strong players that provide the structure. Then they have players with pace, really good, quickness, speed, that can break away from a team that's maybe frustrated and slug, because he has been known to get a few goals over his time. So, yeah, it's those quick players that can hurt us, isn't it? So,
Paul, when you take a look at their squad, who sticks out for you besides Zaha, where you're thinking that could be a problem for us?
Townsend, maybe. Townsend tends to be one of those players who will have a great game somewhere against somebody, and then he'll go missing for a while, and then he'll pop back up again and have a great game again. So when he's in the mood, he can be a player who can really hurt you. Who else who am I thinking of? I mean, he can't really hurt us, but Sacco at the backs, he's a really, really good defender when he's just coached properly and given a bit of responsibility and just gets his head down and works. He's one of the big reasons that they've stayed up the last few years. And the striker they've got, I mean, am I right in saying Benteke's not going to be fit?
No, he might not be. Not be available until 2019.
And I shouldn't laugh. I don't laugh at the guy being hurt, but the guy's really been really awful the last few seasons. But he just always seems to get a goal against us.
That's so true.
For some reason,
that's so true.
He's just, he just, if he was going to start, I'd bet my house that he would just pop up and he's going to get a goal from nowhere. So if he's definitely not playing, then that's one less thing to worry about, especially if we're going to mess around with the defence, which we'll come around to later. So, yeah, Palace are one of those weird teams, I think, where they've kind of underachieved the last couple of years, in the sense that I think when you look at their squad on paper, they should be finishing above the likes of Newcastle or Bournemouth or Watford. And didn't they finish below all of them last season?
Yeah, they finished 11th last season. However, that was really impressive.
Considering where they were, yeah.
Yeah, I think, didn't they lose their opening 7 games, something like that?
It did not look good for them after the first half of the season. It was
Roy
rough.
Hodgson.
Yeah,
Roy Hodgson did an absolutely incredible job coming in. So full credit to him where it's deserved.
Yeah, but my point is, when you look, especially maybe a year ago, if you'd have looked at that team, that squad on paper, you think that team should be getting mid-table comfortable. You know, no one foresaw how awful Benteke was going to become. If a year ago you'd have looked at him and thought, he's good for a dozen goals a season, maybe a bit more, if he gets the service. Zaha, if he keeps fit, will get 10 easily. Townsend might get half a dozen or so. I just don't. I look at them and I'm still shocked that they are fighting relegation every season. For the last 2 or 3 seasons, they've had a squad where I think they should be finishing. They should be looking to push top half, maybe. So they've got some players who, as we've mentioned, they're standout players where you think, yeah, someone's going to come along and poach them sooner rather than later. Zaha, the left back from Bronkhorst, was it? Van Aanholt.
Yeah. Van Aanholt.
Yeah, the left back Van Aanholt. Sacco, I mean, for me, I think he still belongs at a European level club. He's shot himself in the foot getting himself thrown out of Liverpool. I think he can do better than Palace. He's gone to Palace to basically just get his career back on track, and I don't think he'll be there too long. I think he'll get a move back to a big French club or something. So, yeah, they've got some players who can hurt us or really frustrate us, but I think we're on a good upswing in form. Players look like they're getting more confident and that they're really learning with every game. That Silva's message and style of play is sinking in every week. So I think we should be winning this comfortable, but it just never seems to be comfortable for Everton, does it?
I feel like this is not groundbreaking news here. I'm not exactly dropping truth bombs here. Yeah, I feel like Palace, so Zaha goes, so Palace goes. When Zaha is out for an extended period of time, nosedive every time. Okay, he's a great player. He's an electric player, fun to watch, and he's been brimming with confidence. Really, I feel like going back to Palace was huge for him. He's the man now. He's no longer like in anyone's shadow. He's just free to do what he needs to. And that's been great for him. I actually I thought that going to play for Ivory Coast also was good for his confidence. He's just going off doing his own thing, free to be the guy that he wants to be. Now, so that I feel like that right there, that's common knowledge what I'm saying here. I mean, everybody knows he's amazing, but he might be out. Last time I checked, I saw one website that said there's a 75% chance he might play, and then I've seen it lower than that. I think that does affect some things, but I mean, when you look at Townsend, Ayew, and Zaha, that's a really quick front line. That's very quick. And that's one of the things that, I mean, to be frank, our defense is not. We're not very quick. And I'm a little concerned if Ayew's starting in the middle. I mean, Zuma's probably our quickest center back right now. But if they're trying to run at Keane, who, let's be frank, his speed is not his biggest asset, and I don't think they're going to be playing as many balls through the middle as they would. Those set plays, trying to get them in the air the way they would if Benteke was in. It's going to be a lot of quick play. Meyer is a quick little player that they just brought in. He is skilled, and he's starting to kind of get in more of a flow. But you mentioned Van Aanholt, they're outside backs. Okay, Wan-Bissaka is solid. Like, I think a lot of Palace fans, from what I'm reading on Twitter and everything, they value him as their second game changer behind Zaha, which is interesting because he plays on an outside back. So these are things. I mean, he would be going up against Luka Dean, who is good, but again, not super fast. All right, so I'll be interested to see how they attack our flanks. That right there, I don't know. Anyway, they've got talent. I just think it's going to be a much easier game if Zaha's not there. And I'm not even sure. I don't know who would plug in for him.
No, neither do I. But I agree with you completely.
So, speaking of that, Paul, prediction time. What do you think?
I'll go for 2-0.
2-0.
2-0, yeah. I mean, we need a clean sheet. We've not kept anywhere near enough this season, and I like to think that, I mean, we'll come to this later, I like to think that the defence is settling now and we're not going to play around with it too much. And especially if Zaha's not playing, then I don't really see them, short of us doing something absolutely stupid or switching off at the back or giving away a penalty. I just, which is likely, as we know from Everton, but I don't look at that team and think it's got an awful lot of goals in it without Zaha, personally. You said Benteke's not there. He's not going to pop up with something like he tends to do. Townsend is more missed than hit usually, isn't he? So Saka, who you mentioned, hopefully someone like Gay can keep him quiet. So I'm confident that we can keep these out. We should be keeping these out, and I think the goals are going in at the moment. Going forward, we look really, really good. Their defence, other than Sacco and Van Aanholt, it's decent, but I think with Richarlison bang in form, Bernard's is getting fitter every game, and I think we've got more than enough to see these off. I'll go for a goal in each half. We'll go in 1-0 and we'll finish them off in maybe the first 15 minutes of the second half, and then I can see the last half hour not being a stroll, but kind of just taking our foot off the gas a little bit. I'll go for a professional 2-0.
Max, what do you got?
I mean, fingers crossed it's that picture perfect, but defensively, Crystal Palace in the 8 games so far this season, they've actually conceded less goals than Everton. They've conceded 9, whereas we've conceded 12. As Paul rightly said, they're not a team that seems to be brimming with goals. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a walk in the park. As I said, they've been known to frustrate us over the years when we've played them. I'm going to stick to my guns. I said yesterday it was going to be 2-0 to the Blues, and I'm sticking with it. 2-0.
Great. Great.
All gone 2-0.
Great. Yeah, I wrote 2-0 without Zaha.
Are you going to 2-0 Palace, Gerry? Or?
No, I'm sorry.
No.
No, we're not really offering a lot of variation here for our audience. Apologies, folks. We just all, I guess, have a similar gut reaction here. We don't all have the same opinions all the time, but right now, this just kind of feels like what's going to happen. And I actually said if Zaha's there, I still think we're going to win 2-1. But I just think Zaha he changes things. I think he will put one in, or he will get someone a goal if he plays. But I don't know. I feel like we look good right now. I feel like we're riding a lot of confidence right now. I'll be really curious to see who's fit to play, what's switched around, and all that stuff. Paul alluded to it. We're going to go into it with our next segment, in our starting 11 segment. Tease! That's me teasing you. Come back for the next segment. It'll be there. Yeah. We're not going to say anything else about it. I guess that's it for our Palace preview. If you're digging our videos, please subscribe. We just passed the 1240-something mark, so thank you for that. Please subscribe to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel, podcast, all that hot stuff. If you want more Paul, because let's be frank, we all do, you can find Paul on the Toffee Blues website where he gives analysis every once in a while. He'll drop stories on there. And then you can also find him on the Liverpool Echo fan jury. Then there's Max, who's just showing up on everybody's podcast willy-nilly. Check his Twitter timeline and you can see where he's at now. He'll give you links, and he'll also have articles on the Toffee Blues website, just like Paul. That's it. We're going to move on to the starting 11 segment. And bye.